I guess now kind of begins the first part of this workshop. As you know from the agenda, it's split into 3 different sections. So for this first part, we're going to be going through kind of diagnostics and context scanning, whether you're considering building an SDG hub on your own campus or an SDG Alliance. Whether you already have one in place, it's important to consider doing some diagnostics and scanning the context to see what's already working, what isn't working well, and look to see where there's gaps where maybe youth can kind of fill in and help accelerate SDGs in Canada. Perfect. So as we know, kind of what's kind of uniting all of us together here today is an interest in advancing the Sustainable Development Goals. As I'm sure many of us know, collaboration definitely underpins the SDGs. As was said in the word cloud in our introduction, collaboration was definitely like the biggest thing that people were thinking about when joining this workshop. So that type of energy continues when we're talking about the SDGs and when we're talking about creating hubs and alliances on campus today. So it's important to consider how we scan our campuses. This allows us to inventory our strengths as well as our gaps. And this provides us an opportunity to create initiatives that address these gaps in meaningful ways, in youth-centered ways, and in ways that kind of show our needs and put them at the forefront of the conversation, especially when we're considering creating a more sustainable future for all of us. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump through 2 different case studies, one on the Calgary Alliance and one on the Laval Alliance, before moving into more of that working breakout where you can kind of run through this on your own. So to start with the first case study, I'm going to run through kind of how we created the Sustainable Development Goals Alliance at the University of Calgary. So just as some context, so this is our description of who we are. So we're a student-run, community-centered organization. We provide programs, events, and support for our campus community to raise awareness of the SDGs, essentially. We operate through 3 kind of core pillars, those being student engagement, community training, as well as regional advocacy. So we kind of positioned our organizational structure in the sense to be able to best serve both our campus as well as our community. So we formed in 2017 through a merger of existing student groups who were passionate about the SDGs, and we're really looking to mobilize this sort of collective campus action. Something that we noticed when we were kind of forming and when we were doing our own scanning of our campus community was that there was definitely a growing interest in sustainability issues, as I'm sure there is at many of your own campuses across Canada. We noticed that there are a lot of student and staff-led events and initiatives focused on advancing sustainability, but we recognized that there was a need to mobilize and kind of unify these activities. And this is where we kind of thought we really wanted to break down the silos that kind of exist. We noticed that a lot of student groups were kind of advancing the SDGs in their own unique ways, but there was a lot of duplication and a lot of resources being kind of utilized in ways that were really repetitive and maybe not as coordinated as they could have been. So we saw that as kind of a gap in our campus action and decided that maybe we should have some sort of central hub where we can help provide resources to create a stronger kind of unified campus voice. And that's sort of what we kind of used to kind of catalyze building the SDG Alliance at our campus community. So we found that, you know, building training opportunities, facilitating collaboration between clubs, and kind of supporting students on our campus was the best way that we could do that. So yeah, that's how we created our alliance. We really wanted to strengthen the capacity of our campus community to create that sort of actionable change in Calgary. Sorry, my cat's being loud. And then Michelle, just to answer your question, so what are the works that our hub has done specifically? I'll touch on this a little bit, but then also later in this workshop, we're going to go through a lot of the more tangible activities that you can do. But just to name off a few of them, each year we run a conference called the SDG Summit. This is where we do a lot of our community training. So it's kind of like a full day professional development conference where students and community members can learn about the SDGs, network with other leaders in the SDGs, and build some skills to either better communicate the SDGs, implement projects that they have ideas for, and kind of, yeah, build that sort of community on campus. We also provide event funding for clubs on campus to make their events more sustainable, and connect with a lot of different campus clubs to help support them in advancing the SDGs. So that's kind of like a little snippet, but there's like a lot more activities that we'll describe later in this presentation as well. So with that, I'll hand it over to Laval, who will share how they created their campus hub.
Thank you, Tyler. So hi guys, I'm Pierre and I'm from Quebec City, so where we founded the Laval Alliance. So just to put you in context on like how we got to create the Alliance in Quebec City. So our university, we have an research institute named the EDS Institute, which is the Environment, Development, and Society Institute. That was a member of the SDSN network. And this institute of research as a representative for the whole campus to foster their work, which is a lot connected to the SDGs. And then within the SDSN network, the mention of like a hub and creating hubs across Canada. And then the process we've been working on was really like a collaborative process, a co-creation. So we brought together like a lot of different organizations and we created it ourselves. So all these associations were part from the beginning on what the Alliance is today. Yeah, to better fill the gap and similar gaps that, I think actually that's on the slide. Similar gaps that Calgary mentioned were communication with the administration, duplication of work. So many people are doing the same things, but there's no like process on how to work it. And again, like not a united voices for students. So I guess a little bit like our why. Yeah, first one is communication. So that's the one I mentioned. We had the administration. Facilitation is the second one. So we are, we don't want to duplicate something. So we are really there to facilitate and help actual organization and student association that already exists. So we are like more facilitators than creator in that sense. And third one is to include student in the sustainable development administrative strategies. So our administration as their long-term strategy and agenda for the sustainable development goals, but students were not included in it, which I seem is really like basic, but no, that was not the case. So that's one of the things we've been advocating for. And finally, just to create like a network to put this sustainable development goals in action, to raise awareness around them. But I guess like on this slide, I wanted to explain a little bit like our principles, because we're going to talk a little bit more on the structure and what actual events and stuff we are doing later in the presentation. So we are an automated student initiative. So yes, we work with the administration. Yes, we work with organization on campus, but we are our own independent organization. We are both horizontal and vertical. So between students and organization and groups, this is all horizontal. We're all on the same page. Everyone is a member, but we are also on the vertical structure with the administration to carry their message both ways. So to carry our voices to them, but also to carry what they're doing to the various student bodies. And then third principle, I guess it would be inclusivity. So everyone on campus that want to engage, that want to be involved can, and everyone's a member. So there's no like private club. This is just like you want to get engaged, then you are already a member of the Alliance. And then that includes also all groups and student organization on campus.
Thank you, Pierre-Antoine. Hello, everyone. My name is Riadh. I'm from Laval University in Quebec. This workshop is organized like with 3 different parts: the learn, work, and report. So now we will pass to this part of work. I hope you saw interesting resources or knowledge in the part of learn when you see the case studies of Calgary and Laval. And now what we will try to do, it's a SWOT analysis. This breakout also will help you to do a context scanning of your campuses to reach the SDG by using the SWOT analysis. I don't know if you all know the SWOT analysis, but we will pass through to explain later how it works. It's just a table, really easy to use, but it will help you like to do this context scanning of your campuses. So here you have the table of SWOT analysis. I put it an example here just to maybe to help you to understand how it works. So you have like 4 cases: strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat. So I put it in this example. One example we have in Laval University. So in the strength, there is an administration staff in charge of sustainable development issue at Laval University, which can help us and help the campus to have a sustainable development strategy. But as a weakness, there is only 4 persons in the administration in Laval University who work on this theme. But the campus, in the campus, we have like 43,000 students. So it's really a little number of person to be in charge of this subject. So in our case, what we see as an opportunity is that the student community can help fill the staffing gap for achieving the SDG campus. But the threat is that the horizontal and hierarchical governance of the administration make it more difficult for students to get involved in the decision-making process of the SDG, of the Sustainable Development Strategy. So here you have just one example, but I mean, it depends on each campuses. Maybe we can go throughout some of them and see if there is something who goes out from this opportunity. So, okay, so learn and teach about the SDG to make them reliable to us. Okay, so I think this, for example, it will be like one of the most popular action in the alliances, and what we will try to propose you with this workshop, try to help you to have this type of alliance. I see the collaboration with other institutions in similar area. Okay, that's we come back to the first word we saw in the word cloud, which is collaboration, and with our what are like a key competences for the SDGs. Online and physical frequent co-creation space between all the stakeholders. We are also in the collaboration theme. Merging the office and student group and collaboration with other institutions. Interdisciplinarity connection, which is another challenges we have in the SDG. Okay, so what I see from this opportunity, yeah, there is like 2 points I see a lot. I would say 3 points: collaboration, interdisciplinarity, and also pass from informative to active action.
I'd just like to offer some questions for everyone to mindfully reflect on. I'll just provide this link in the chat. So if you did have some time, I would take a look at it. So yeah, this link is basically, it ranks post-secondary institutions on their impact related to each specific SDG, which is really interesting. So I ask you to maybe find your own university or other universities in your city and province or territory. Take note of something they're excelling at, but also make sure to note the gaps, because as we progress through the workshop, these are items that you can think about that you might want to move into your advocacy initiatives among your institution. I just want everyone to reflect on their university-specific human capacity. So what does human capacity look like? It can be different campus partners, staff, students, how you can leverage leaders on campus to support your new hub or alliance, or are there already student clubs on campus that align with your vision that might be key partnerships? Looking into maybe a dedicated office of sustainability. Does your institution have an institutional sustainability strategy? And then just trying to think about like formal partnerships that might be key.
Just sharing this for everyone, I'm going to post the link in the chat, but if you're unfamiliar with some of the things that your institution has done sustainability wise, ASHE stars is one of the most common metrics that universities use to track their sustainability, and the reports are public.